And where else would we live, you genius, when we're not wanted? And maybe you could look in her room in the loft? My old legs ain't up to climbing stairs, but you might find some clues there. And you can look in the hut in her place in the loft. She keeps her things there. And besides, the folk in Troskovitz ain't too fond of us. It's folk that are dangerous, lad. I'm afraid something's happened to Pavlena, or that I don't know what it means to be young. But what if something's happened to Pavlena? I can't look for her myself, and no one else will come to my aid. She is. Not by birth, but that doesn't change anything. All too often, lad. But that's the lot of women. Or is it any different where you're from? These are evil times, Henry. I dread to think what could happen to a young girl alone on the road. She goes to Troskovitz to sell baskets, but she knows I can't manage on my own, so she never stays away for long. What if something's happened to her? God forbid. I can't look for her myself, but you could. What am I to do? Thank you, Henry. If I was you, I'd ask in Troskovitz. That's where she was heading last time I saw her. And if she arrived, someone must have seen her. Thank you, Henry. Like I said, she was heading for Troskovitz. You should start looking there. A girl from the charcoal burners. They left the county and I think she had no one else. I buried her myself. No one came for her. My old legs ain't up to climbing stairs, but you might find some clues there. Go away. Her mother died in childbirth, and there was no one but me to take care of her. These old eyes of mine can't see nothing much. Pavlena has to take care of me. She's a good girl, that lass of mine. If she wanted to live a little, she'd tell me straight out. She doesn't keep things from me. To Troskovitz. She was taking wicker baskets she'd made. A childbirth went awry, and we were driven away by all the lies told about us. I'm very worried about my daughter. My daughter, Pavlena. Remember her? She was here when I was healing you two. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sure the good folk of Troskovitz will be only too keen to tell you. Well, we haven't always lived here in the rocks, you know. We're from Troskovitz originally. Leave me alone. I have no reason to talk to you anymore. Don't imagine I keep her here against her will. I'd rather not talk about it, Henry. I wouldn't want you to get the wrong impression about us. Don't go digging up old wrongs, Henry. And don't insult us. I don't know who he was. Pavlena's mother was very young, and the fella surely abandoned her when her belly grew. She never told me nothing about him. You don't know Pavlena. She's not like that. Sometimes it takes her a while, but this time she said she'd be right back. Go away. Leave me, you made your point. She sells them there and uses the coin to buy what we need. Left? They threw us out. Please think it over, Henry. I have a bad feeling about this. See then? Now, can we just keep our minds on Pavlena? I'm very worried about her. You understand? I know I'm asking a lot of you, but I've no one else to turn to. It's not like her to be wandering around like that. She's missing. I know, she came back. Thank you, Henry. Wait, I'll call her for you. And? Did you find anything? Pavlena weaves baskets very nicely. Folk buy them from her. You're saying she had some young man here? We've got nothing here but what we make ourselves, or find in the woods. Aye, she usually has a few on the go, but she took them to the market in Troskovitz. I'd surely have noticed. I told you, didn't I? Pavlena wouldn't run off. Could she have found herself a beau in Troskovitz? What did you expect? People don't really care about lost dogs. And you're going to be her saviour. I've heard that one before. But what do you want from her? Poor girl. She was terribly afraid of something. I begged them to stay here. Said they were in no danger here. But nothing came of it. Everyone, as far as I know. Her own family and the people of Samin. All right. Good. She was right to run away. You can search all of Apollonia, but you won't find Marika. We'll have no peace until Yakesh is dead. Be careful around Semin. I hear there's a pack of wolves there. One fella who got bit already came to see me, and it wasn't a pretty sight. I don't know much about dogs. He could have run into the woods and started hunting. You want me to help you? Off with you. Is it done? If I were a dog, I'd go to where there's food. There are plenty of fishermen around the pond, and they're always throwing out leftovers at the tavern. Henry, how does it look with Yakesh? Will you help me, Henry? Henry, I think you'd best leave her alone. Marika, I do know her, but... Henry, have you found out anything? Where is that girl dawdling? Most didn't approve of her relationship with Bohush. Both families took it as an affront to their honour. But that's all I know. I'm afraid for Pavlena. Marika told me a few times about a cave chamber in Apollonia, but I've never been there myself. With Bohush from Semin. Marika was here with her lover, but he was in rough shape. Blood everywhere. You must. I don't know what I'll do without her. The entrance should be somewhere on the right side of the valley. There should be one little rock wedged between two big ones. Any news, Henry? Maybe your dog's gone feral and is running around with them. Will you help an old woman, young man? Don't leave it too long, Henry. Have you seen Pavlena anywhere, Henry? Well, you helped me, Henry, so I'll help you. You wouldn't be the first or the last. There's a whole pack of wolves near Semin these days. I remember that, because Marika told me that she sometimes feels just as small, like she's stuck between two big worlds. Why are you looking for her? Sorry, I'm out of my mind with worry. Then please make time for it, Henry. I'm desperate. I understand. If you need anything, I'll be here. I went to pick some herbs, and when I came back, they were gone. At least you can see how scared she was to stay here. I fixed Bohush up the best I could. I hope they made it. Well, that's all I know about her, lad. I don't like this. It's not usual for her to be gone so long. I'm sorry. I haven't seen any dogs around. Sadly, I don't. Marika was terrified. She didn't want to talk about it at all. And then they were gone. I do. I know her quite well, in fact. But it was a just thing that you did, Henry. Oh? Are you sure? It was a bad deed, but in a good cause. God forgive us. He wanted revenge, and now he's got it. Thank you, Henry. It was a bad deed, but in a good cause. God forgive us. Good. He wanted revenge. He's got it. Good. Good. Good, Henry. It was a bad deed, but for a good cause. God will surely forgive us. I told you, but you wouldn't listen. Dead. So, it's done then. You're a strange man, Henry. But in the end you did the right thing. Thank you. If you ever need anything, just say the word. I thought I'd feel different. Only, here, I was saving this coin up for Pavlena. But no. And you deserve it for all you done. I feel nothing. Very well, then. But if you ever need anything, come and see me. Suit yourself, then. I'll find another way to get justice. So you decided I was right in the end. I understand. Who'd want to help some old hag? All right, Henry. Thanks for everything you did for us. But go now, so you won't help us. Then me and Pavlena are left to do everything alone. I'm left to do everything all alone. And you should at least keep half of Yakesh's coin. And you really believe him? That he'll leave us alone? And you believe him, but... All right, then. I believe you, Henry. If it wasn't for you, I'd have lost my daughter. I'll be forever grateful to you. God sent you my way to save my daughter. And he probably has a plan for Yakesh, too. What does that mean? That Pavlena can go to Troskovitz and no one will trouble us anymore? Thank you, Henry. In the end, you were right. Thank you, Henry. But now leave me alone for a moment. I need time to think. Thank you, Henry. It seems you were right in the end. Thank you, Henry. For everything. If you won't help me as I wanted, I have no other option. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Henry. If it wasn't for you, I'd have lost my daughter. You saved my Pavlena, after all. I trust you. All right. If you believe Yakesh wasn't involved, I'll let it go. Agree? On what? That's not going to bring my daughter back. But, my girl, is it all over? Is it done? Henry, if Pavlena has a boy, I hope he'll be at least half as good as you. Henry, what would we do without you? God himself must have sent you to us. We'll always be obliged to you, Henry. If you ever need anything, you know where to come. If you ever need anything, we'll be here for you. If you need anything, come and visit us. We'll be happy to see you. If you ever need anything, come and see us. If only we'd made peace with Yakesh before it all went so far. So I'm supposed to take the money to ease my grief. You should keep half the coin. No, I give you my word. Keep the coin and leave me alone. Come and visit us sometimes. And if you need anything, we'll be here for you. I don't know what I'd do without her. Well, as you wish, Henry. You're a good man. Are you sure? Let's hope Yakesh keeps his word. I hope you're right. I'd hate to regret it later. And we thank you. We thank you, Henry. You've done so much for us. I hope we'll be able to repay you. I'll tell him all about you one day. And what in God's name are you doing here? And who's this fella of hers? Hasn't Yakesh hurt us enough already? Me and Pavlena pulled the baby out, but it wasn't breathing. It was already gone. Yes, avenge my Pavlena, Henry. Thank you, Henry. I feel no less bitter about Pavlena, but an eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. Thank you. Thank God, Henry. So we can wait for her together. All right, Henry. God be merciful. What about Pavlena? Really? She never told me about him. But it's no wonder, I suppose. Yakesh is an old fool. He thought, since his wife had given birth 3 times, that he didn't need no midwife. Yakesh has to die. It's his fault that I lost my child. Yakesh, go, now! Yakesh, dead. My Pavlena. But you still can help me, Henry. If he'd sent for me sooner, maybe I could have done something. But it was too late to help the poor woman. Blood. Oh, my God. Did you ask around? Did you find any tracks? I might have known Yakesh was behind it. Ludmilla died shortly after. From exhaustion. And grief. My poor little girl. Now I have nothing left. Thank you for everything, Henry. But please leave me alone now. My one and only child. He must have put them up to it. For revenge. You have to kill him. You have to save her. You think he might have done something to her? Do you think his coin will help? Nothing will bring Pavlena back to me. No. My Pavlena, my little girl is dead. How? How did it happen? Leave me in peace, Henry. I want to be alone. Go. And leave me alone. Go. Not only did he cause the death of his own wife and child, and falsely blames me for it, but now he tries to take away my only daughter. I just can't believe it. Really? Mother of God. If anything has happened to my Pavlena, tell me, lad. My God. Oh, my God. dead. Then what are you doing here? You've got to find her quick. We can't let such injustice go unpunished. Even if we could prove it, the bailiff would do nothing. Yakesh is a relative of his. I thought as much. Pavlena's too smart to fall foul of some old fool. I don't like the sound of that. What if this Roman did something to her? You stand up for him after all he's done? Abducted? By who? Why? She can't take it with her. Take this. I was saving it for Pavlena, but now... all on account of one child that didn't want to come into the world. And that madman still thinks it was my fault. Kill him, Henry. Kill Yakesh. And did they do anything to you? Then what do you think we should do? And I'm grateful to you, Henry. And if his hatred can spur others on to hurt my daughter or me, I can see no other way out. And now, when Yakesh tried to kill my daughter, you tell me I should do nothing? But if he refuses to listen to reason, you know what you have to do. But leave us now. Me and Pavlena need to think about what to do. Yes, it's either him or us. Yes, very well. If you think you can convince him, it was a boy. Yakesh's only son. I want you to kill him. I want to reward you for it. What? Are you trying to say now that he's in the right? Yakesh dead? What? Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Henry. You've helped us more than anyone ever did. Thank you. We'll never have peace as long as he's alive. No matter what we did, it clung on and wouldn't budge. Right after, he threw us out. Ludmilla died during the night, probably all alone, from exhaustion and pain, or maybe distress. My little girl. Are you taking his side too? Well, I'm sorry for caring more for the living than the dead. It really must have been the will of God that you crossed our path. As you wish. But when you fail, you'll know what needs to be done. Yakesh didn't think so. Yakesh turned all his anger and hatred against us. But it was us who tried to save his son. Yakesh blamed us for everything. And the whole village listened to him. That's old history. I just don't want you to have to save her again. But the child was feet first and wouldn't come out. There's no other way. If you think you can convince Yakesh, go ahead and try. But I can tell you now it'll come to nothing. There's no other way. As long as Yakesh is alive, we'll always be persecuted for something that isn't our fault. Otherwise, this will never end. Henry, I need one last service from you. We're both in your debt, Henry. I don't know what I'd do without my little girl. When we had to forage in the woods to survive and spent the winter shivering over dying embers, I did nothing. But by the time we arrived, it was looking bad. When Yakesh accused us of killing his son, I did nothing. When they drove us out of the village, I did nothing. I wish everyone saw it that way. God Almighty! Who would do such a thing? It was because of him that they drove us out of Truskovitz. It was years ago, but he's still trying to hurt us. I might have known he wouldn't leave us in peace. Can we count on you again, Henry? He thought since Ludmilla had already given birth to 3 children, she'd manage the 4th on her own. I thought we could expect nothing from life but evil things. But you brought us good. In the end, it died. When we finally got it out, it was too late. Little Marushka came to get us, though. No, Henry. Enough is enough. No, lad. This can't go on. Don't worry, Henry. We won't breathe a word to anyone. Don't worry. We'll take care of everything. You weren't there. You don't know what it was like. He wouldn't listen. He had to look at him. I don't know what to say. God himself must have led you to our door that night. Well, speak up, girl. I won't do anything to you for generations. I was the midwife there for years, just like my ma before me. Really? You will? Pavlena. Is this true, Pavlena? Pavlena! Let me look. Are you all right? The birth started sooner than it should have, and Yakesh didn't send for us on time. Why? There was nothing we could do, was there? Like I told you, Henry, he came into the world already without his soul. How could I baptize him? I understand. You saved my daughter, and for that I'll be eternally grateful to you. It'll end with Yakesh's death. Farmer Yakesh will never forgive me. He blames me for an act of God. Let them. I've had enough. Why would I make peace with someone who only wants to hurt us? Quiet, Pavlena. That child was stillborn, and his mother needed help. Should I have let her die to christen her dead child? Hasn't he hurt us enough already? Isn't it enough that we have to live here because of him? So many children we brought into the world. Yakesh's too. You think, Henry, that you could persuade Yakesh to drop his accusations against us? I was saving these groschen for when Pavlena got married, but I'm sure you'll forgive me, girl. I did what I could. I gave her poultices and herbs to inhale. You've already helped us more than anyone in the world, but I knew it would come to this, except for one. Everything leads back to him and his old hatred. They drove us out, for us being driven out, for Pavlena being abducted. Yakesh is to blame for everything. You've earned it.